Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide to your daily journey through the past to empower the future. Today is Sunday, June 1st, 2025. As we do every Sunday, we're exploring a revolutionary innovation that has fundamentally changed how humans create, share, and preserve knowledge. Today, we turn our attention to the printing press, one of history's most transformative inventions that revolutionized the spread of information and ideas. Developed in the mid-15th century by Johannes Gutenberg, the printing press didn't just change how books were made, it transformed education, religion, politics, and culture in ways that continue to shape our world today. What makes the printing press particularly significant is how it democratized knowledge, making books and information accessible to ordinary people for the first time in human history. This innovation sparked the Renaissance, enabled the Protestant Reformation, accelerated scientific discovery, and laid the foundation for modern mass communication and literacy. So let's explore this groundbreaking invention, examining its technological innovations, its rapid spread across Europe, and its profound impact on human civilization that established the foundation for our modern information age. Before Gutenberg's printing press, books were incredibly rare and expensive luxury items. In medieval Europe, books were copied by hand, typically by monks working in monastery scriptoriums. This painstaking process meant that a single book could take months or even years to complete, making books accessible only to the wealthy elite, the church, and a few scholars. The scarcity of books had profound implications for society. Literacy rates were extremely low, often below 5% of the population. Knowledge was concentrated in the hands of a small educated elite, primarily clergy and nobility. The transmission of information was slow and unreliable, with errors inevitably creeping into hand-copied texts through successive generations of copying. This system began showing strain by the 14th and 15th centuries. The Renaissance was creating increased demand for classical texts, while growing universities needed more books for students and scholars. The rise of a merchant class created a new audience hungry for practical knowledge about commerce, law, and technical skills. The existing system of manuscript production simply could not meet this growing demand. Several technological developments set the stage for Gutenberg's breakthrough. Papermaking technology, introduced to Europe from China via the Islamic world, provided a cheaper alternative to expensive parchment made from animal skins. Improvements in metallurgy enabled the creation of durable metal type that could withstand repeated use. Oil-based inks, adapted from painting techniques, provided better adhesion to metal type than traditional water-based inks. Johannes Gutenberg, born around 1400 in Mainz, Germany, was ideally positioned to synthesize these technologies into a revolutionary printing system. As a goldsmith, he possessed the metalworking skills necessary to create precise metal type. His familiarity with existing technologies like wine presses and coin stamping provided mechanical insights that would prove crucial to his innovation. Gutenberg's key breakthrough was developing a system of movable metal type that could be rapidly assembled into pages, printed, then disassembled and reused for different texts. This represented a dramatic improvement over earlier printing methods used in East Asia, which relied on carved wooden blocks that had to be created individually for each page of text. The technical challenges Gutenberg faced were enormous. He needed to create hundreds of individual pieces of type, each precisely the same height so they would print evenly. The metal alloy had to be hard enough to withstand repeated use but soft enough to cast in detailed molds. The ink had to transfer cleanly from metal to paper without smudging or fading. Gutenberg's solution involved creating a lead-tin antimony alloy that provided the perfect balance of durability and castability. His type casting system used precise molds that could rapidly produce identical pieces of type. His printing press, adapted from existing winepress technology, applied even pressure across the entire page, ensuring consistent printing quality. The first major product of Gutenberg's press was the famous Gutenberg Bible, printed around 1455. This magnificent work demonstrated the potential of printing technology, producing 180 copies of exceptional quality that rivaled the finest hand-copied manuscripts. The Gutenberg Bible established printing as a viable commercial enterprise and showcased the technology's potential for mass production of high-quality texts. The economic implications of printing were immediately apparent. While a hand-copied book might cost the equivalent of several months' wages for a skilled craftsman, printed books could be produced for a fraction of that cost. This dramatic reduction in book prices made reading material accessible to a much broader audience, including merchants, artisans, and eventually even ordinary laborers. The technology spread with remarkable speed across Europe. By 1500, less than 50 years after Gutenberg's innovation, printing presses had been established in over 250 European cities. Printers like Aldus Manutius in Venice revolutionized book design, creating portable editions that people could easily carry and read anywhere. The famous Aldine press produced beautifully designed books that combined scholarly accuracy with aesthetic appeal. The printing press had profound religious implications that would reshape European Christianity. Before printing, the Bible was available only in Latin and primarily accessible to clergy who could read and interpret it for the general population. Printed Bibles in vernacular languages allowed ordinary people to read scripture for themselves, undermining the Church's monopoly on biblical interpretation. Martin Luther's Protestant Reformation would have been impossible without the printing press. Luther's writings spread across Germany and Europe with unprecedented speed, reprinted in numerous editions and translated into multiple languages. His 95 Theses, originally intended as a scholarly debate topic, became a bestseller that ignited religious revolution across Europe. The printing press also accelerated scientific advancement by enabling rapid sharing of discoveries and theories. Scientific works could be widely distributed, allowing researchers across Europe to build upon each other's work more effectively than ever before. The standardization of texts eliminated errors that had previously crept in through hand copying, ensuring that scientific knowledge was transmitted accurately. Nicolaus Copernicus's revolutionary heliocentric theory, Galileo's observations of celestial bodies, and Isaac Newton's mathematical principles all benefited from printing technology that allowed their ideas to reach wide audiences of scholars and educated readers. The printing press created the first truly international scientific community, united by shared access to printed knowledge. The impact on education was equally transformative. Universities could now provide textbooks to students rather than requiring them to copy lectures by hand. This dramatically expanded the curriculum and made higher education more efficient and effective. Elementary education also benefited as printed primers and textbooks became available for teaching basic literacy and numeracy. Printing also revolutionized legal systems by making laws and legal precedents widely available. Before printing, legal knowledge was largely confined to a small group of trained lawyers and judges. Printed legal codes and case compilations made legal information accessible to broader audiences, contributing to more systematic and consistent application of justice. The economic effects extended far beyond the printing industry itself. The availability of technical manuals and instructional texts accelerated the transfer of craft knowledge and industrial techniques. Merchants could access printed guides to foreign markets, currencies, and trading practices. Agricultural manuals helped spread improved farming techniques that increased food production. The printing press also had profound political implications. Printed pamphlets and broadsides enabled rapid dissemination of political ideas and news. Rulers could communicate more effectively with their subjects through printed proclamations, while opponents could spread dissenting views through underground printing operations. The concept of authorship was transformed by printing technology. Before printing, texts were often anonymous or attributed to classical authorities to give them credibility. Printing created economic incentives for authors to claim credit for their work, leading to the development of copyright concepts and the emergence of professional writing as a viable career. Women found new opportunities in the printing industry, both as printers and authors. While still limited by social conventions, some women operated printing presses, particularly as widows continuing their husbands' businesses. Female authors could reach wider audiences through print, though they often faced criticism for entering the public sphere of published discourse. The standardization of languages was another crucial consequence of printing. Publishers needed to choose which dialect or variant of a language to use in their books, gradually creating standardized versions of national languages. This process contributed to the development of national identities and the decline of Latin as the universal language of learning. However, the printing revolution also created new anxieties and challenges. Religious and political authorities worried about their ability to control the flow of information and ideas. The Catholic Church created the Index of Forbidden Books, attempting to prevent the circulation of texts deemed dangerous to faith and morals. Governments established licensing systems to control what could be printed. The flood of new books also created what some scholars call information overload, as readers struggled to navigate the dramatically expanded universe of available texts. New methods of organizing knowledge became necessary, leading to innovations in indexing, cataloging, and bibliographic systems that helped readers find relevant information. The printing press established patterns of mass communication that persist today. The concept of bestsellers, the importance of marketing and distribution networks, and the role of publishers in shaping public discourse all emerged during the early centuries of printing. The tension between freedom of expression and attempts at censorship also became a defining feature of societies with printing technology. The social implications were equally significant. Reading began to shift from a primarily communal activity, where one person read aloud to a group, to an individual, private activity. This change contributed to the development of more introspective and individualistic forms of thought and spirituality that would characterize modern Western culture. The printing press also accelerated the pace of social change by enabling rapid spread of new ideas and fashions. Printed materials could carry information about distant places and different ways of life, expanding people's horizons beyond their immediate communities and traditional authorities. As we reflect on the printing press from our contemporary digital age, we can see remarkable parallels between the 15th century printing revolution and our current digital revolution. Both technologies dramatically reduced the cost of reproducing and distributing information. Both democratized access to knowledge and enabled new forms of social and economic organization. The printing press reminds us that transformative technologies often face resistance from established authorities who fear losing control over information flows. The challenges of managing information abundance, ensuring quality and accuracy, and balancing freedom of expression with social responsibility that we face today echo similar challenges faced by early modern societies adapting to print culture. The invention also demonstrates how technological innovations can have far-reaching and often unexpected consequences. Gutenberg likely intended his printing press primarily as a more efficient way to produce religious texts. He probably did not anticipate that his invention would help spark religious reformation, accelerate scientific revolution, and contribute to the rise of democratic political systems. The printing press established the foundation for mass literacy and public education that became defining features of modern democratic societies. The idea that ordinary citizens should be able to read and access information necessary for informed participation in civic life can be traced directly to the expanded access to books and knowledge created by printing technology. From an economic perspective, the printing industry pioneered many features of modern capitalism, including mass production, standardized products, international markets, and branded goods. The publishing industry developed sophisticated systems of distribution, marketing, and intellectual property protection that served as models for other industries. The printing press also illustrates the importance of combining existing technologies in innovative ways. Gutenberg's genius lay not in inventing entirely new technologies but in synthesizing existing techniques, metallurgy, press mechanics, ink chemistry, and papermaking, into a revolutionary new system. This pattern of combinatorial innovation continues to drive technological progress today. As we navigate our current digital transformation, the history of the printing press offers valuable insights. Just as printing eventually led to higher literacy rates, more informed populations, and more democratic societies, our digital technologies may be laying the foundation for new forms of knowledge sharing and social organization that we can barely imagine today. The printing press stands as one of humanity's most consequential inventions, demonstrating how technological innovation can fundamentally alter the trajectory of human civilization. By making knowledge accessible to ordinary people, printing technology helped create the intellectual foundations of the modern world, establishing principles of universal education, freedom of expression, and democratic participation that continue to shape our societies today. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of the printing press and its revolutionary impact on human civilization. Tomorrow, we'll be back with our This Day in History episode where we'll be examining the significant events that occurred on June 2nd throughout history. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. How do you see the lessons of the printing revolution applying to our current digital age? Let us know in the comments section below. For our members, this Sunday we'll have a special roundup of technological developments from the past week with additional historical context and analysis. We'll explore how current innovations connect to the longer history of human invention and discovery we've been examining in this series. Until next time, I'm your guide for History Explained, where we believe that understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.